So it's not that countries have lost completely the flexibility of their exchange rate in creating the monetary union, because still they still have the flexibility of the exchange rate of the euro. But certainly, in joining the monetary union, they have lost some of the exchange rate flexibility. And so the adjustment has to happen through internal devaluations. Now, that's the reason why. Now, first of all, why should the adjustment happen? So the answer to this is another question. Would it be imaginable that we have a union, a monetary union, based on permanent creditors and permanent debtors forever? At the present time, such unions do exist. The United States, for example, is a situation where there is a state, Oklahoma, which is a permanent debtor, and New York State is a permanent creditor. But is it, at the stage of our political development, is it realistic to think that such a union could exist in our case? And that's why, in a sense, we go back to the speech before. Politics and economic integration are intertwined here. And the sense is that it's not realistic at this point in time. So countries that have been debtors, gradually they will have to adjust. And so the sort of discipline, the policy making of a monetary union is very different from what you would do if the country were outside the monetary union. So in the years pre-crisis, there have been gigantic transfers into countries that simply were living on credit, both the private sector and the public sector. And they let happen two things. Debt would go up and prices would go up. They become uncompetitive and they financed this progressive loss of competitiveness through a credit flow. At some point this changed. At this point this credit would not flow any longer, so they had to become competitive. And they had to bring back those prices that had gone up with no relationship whatsoever with productivity back to a level where these countries would be competitive. That's the sort of adjustment we have. What's the lesson? Well, there are many lessons that one could draw, but what's the lesson? The main lesson that I would draw from this experience is that we should be very careful within a monetary union not to let our wages and prices go off the line. We should be very careful in maintaining these countries competitive within the union, first and foremost. And we should be very careful in not letting debt levels go out of hand, because then we would be, in a sense, punished, not only by markets, but also by the freezing of financial flows that had took place, for example, during the crisis.